Now, welcome to another Let's Talk Some Mando. This time it is the 7th episode of Season 3, also known as Chapter 23, also known as The Spies. And so let's once again begin with your ever so brief review of the episode.
I liked this episode quite a bit. I mean, we got Moff Gideon back. We got to see the Mandos go and explore Mandalore. I feel like this should have happened earlier in the season, but now that we've got it, I'm happy.
I agree. Probably best episode of the season.
Just all sad. It's just so long.
Yeah, not just in terms of enjoyability, but just the pacing, the structure. It felt like a really just well done episode for the most part. There are gripes with certain things, and a lot of the comments, though, were very positive towards this video. There were a lot of people pointing out some of the little gripes, so we have a lot of those in this video too, or in the comments that we'll read. Speaking of those, maybe we should get right to them. And we'll once again begin with the top-rated comment.
Our top-rated comment is from Bowen Horn. I won't lie, as goofy as it is for Grogu to use IG-11 as a droid suit, I kind of love it. This comment goes along with Ripple. IG-12 is really great and cute, but it just feels like an easy way of Disney avoiding Grogu talking for longer.
It's brilliant.
It kind of is.
Because it gives you what you want, because I think we all want Grogu to start talking already. So it gives you that in a way, but it doesn't have him talk, which kind of takes away the true baby childishness, which a lot of people, that adorability that people love.
It reminds me of when you can train your dog to hit those buttons to be like, oh, pet me,
yes.
Pet me.
Yes.
They just need to install more buttons so he can totally get full sentences across.
I don't know why that hasn't happened already. They live in a galaxy. I mean, we live in one too that has
text-to-speech,
all sorts of devices that could easily have him talking or communicating. He could have been given a data pad that just has, 10 generic responses, or even he could type things out. And I get it, it's a story, and we're trying to build certain things. You don't want to take everything literally or logically, otherwise you might ruin it. But if I'm Din and I'm talking to him and he clearly understands the things I say to him, I might be interested to know what he wanted to say back.
Yeah, I mean, we know he can communicate. He did with Ahsoka. He did presumably with Luke as well.
Yeah. Well, he talked to him in this season. He literally tells him, Grogu, show him what you can do, Grogu. And when he's dueling, Paz's son.
Well, Grogu, go get bo-katan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he knows. He understands.
Yeah, and these are not the first time. Even in season 2, he's telling him, get the ball or send the ball to Ahsoka. So he knows that Grogu can understand. So in theory, Grogu should be able to communicate back, in words if you could speak in some capacity. I don't know. It's a minor gripe.
Maybe for some reason their vocal cords develop slowly or something. I mean, we don't know enough about this species. For all we know, learning to speak basic is really hard for them.
Well, Yoda and
Yaddle are the only examples we have, but they were both quite a bit older. Just like it's got to be hard for a Wookiee to speak basic.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible for them to.
So it might be a really big challenge for Grogu to speak basic based on his species anatomy.
It's possible.
I don't know. I'm just giving them excuses now, I guess.
Yeah. But as for the IG-12 suit thing, we had heard rumors about this.
Ages ago.
And we heard kind of this big mech suit, kind of Iron Man thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't that, thankfully. It works. I think it's like I said, I think it's brilliant on their part because it makes him more mobile. It allows him to quote unquote speak.
Does it make him more mobile?
Well,
he can't fly.
Well, he doesn't need to fly. He's never gonna fly.
His little pod could fly.
Well, yeah, it hovered.
Yeah, but remember he used to use it to fly up and down the mines of Mandalore.
Okay, but he could put some jet thrusters on the feet.
Well, they didn't though.
My point is, it makes him maybe more mobile. Isn't as much as more kind of gives him more ability to manipulate things around him, I guess you could say, besides using the Force to do it.
It's also kind of a gag because now he can keep things away from Mando, as we saw. I mean, he's got long arms, he's tall enough. It does put them a little more on equal footing. I kind of like it. I think it's cute. I just want there to be more buttons.
I think there needs to be more buttons, yeah.
Feed me.
That would be the only one he ever hits. Nuggies, nuggies, nuggies.
Next comment is from Busy Merrick. This is the biggest issue I have with Disney. They will spend an entire season just spinning in circles. Then the last episode or two will feel like they are suddenly trying to make an actual show. And it's almost universal at this point, no matter which series.
Yes. I mean, if you look at the first season in particular, it is very You have the opening 3 episodes, which kind of sets the stage. You then have 3 middle episodes, which are Din hiding Grogu, and they feel like the more filler episodes. Like, if you subtract them for the story, it doesn't matter. And then the final 2 ramp everything up to 11, and you have the big finale. Season 2 does something similar. It doesn't have the opening, but it has a lot of episodes that are kind of, unnecessary in the grand scheme of things. Well, they add little tidbits, but, you could really watch the last, 3 episodes of the season and pretty much get the gist of the whole season. And we're kind of here again, in a way.
But isn't that most TV shows? I mean,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of TV shows.
I think in the day and age of the streaming, your 10-episode seasons, a lot of the times they are more focused than this. But not always. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of shows out there that still are kind of unfocused and will have their filler. I'm not saying you could skip all, the 5-6 first episodes of the season and you didn't miss anything. There's a lot of little tidbits. But
the Pershing episode is important.
Well, yeah, it is important now, especially because we get you understand Elia Kane more in the amnesty program and all of these things. But what I'm saying is you could probably take the little tidbits you learn in the first 5-6 episodes. You can probably condense them and still tell interesting, individual stories each and every week, and maybe just progress things a little more, maybe be little more in depth. I don't know. As the comment points out, it's not what Disney Star Wars in these shows has traditionally done. You can say that's an excuse. You can say that's their intent. I don't know, but it's not what they've traditionally done either way.
Next comment comes from Phil Norfleet. Overall, vastly better than the previous Scooby-Doo episode. High points for me, live action Paleon. Low points for me, having to come to glum realization that, all this ultimately ends in the catastrophic sequel trilogy and getting depressed once again. Also getting some seriously uncomfortable Jon Snow, she's McQueen vibes from Din this season.
You know what's funny? 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I turned to you just randomly, because I do this all the time. And I love to just throw random questions, Star Wars questions at you. It's why I married you. Just joking. But I was like, what do you think about Din dying in the final episode of the season?
And you did ask me, and I said no.
But I can't help but feel like he is becoming less and less important to this story.
But he's important to Grogu.
Yes. But what would Grogu be without Din?
People may not like the two of them separate.
Well, I don't disagree.
I still think it was a missed opportunity that it might just be because of Pedro Pascal's filming schedule. I thought for sure that Moff Gideon was going to take his helmet off and dishonor him. I was like, here it comes! Here it comes! No, it didn't happen.
Well, the reason why I bring this up is because there's a really good comment. It's a long comment, which is why it's not here. It's from I believe the name was JJ Starprod. They said they were a film animation director or something along those lines. Apologies if you're watching this video and I'm screwing it up. But he went through this really long list of, ways that the show seems to be obviously and not so obviously focusing more on bo-katan as the main character.
Yeah.
And then coupled with the fact that of all the actors who didn't show up at Celebration, Pedro Pascal was chief among them. Which...
because he's busy, man.
Exactly. How exactly do you really want to keep hinging your show's filming schedule and everything else on
someone
one
who's
actor?
Not there. Yeah, you're not wrong. But he only needs to record voice lines, so he really only needs to work a week. They need him for a week. Other than that, Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder, they got this.
I don't disagree, but it is strange he wasn't there. It is strange just how much the show focuses. I mean, he was pointing out that every episode ends with a shot of bo-katan. Never a shot of Din, never a shot of Grogu. It's very interesting, and if you want to go check that out on the other video, because it's long, but he makes a lot of really good points. And it did feel very much like a Jon Snow, she's McQueen. Not that I'm saying the scene was bad or anything, but...
But he's just supporting the ruler of Mandalore?
Supporting is what he's become, a supporting character.
Yeah.
Which,
it's a little sad.
It's a little... It's not that it's sad. I like bo-katan. She's been, for better or worse, she's been the best character in this season by a long shot. It just feels like this show was about Din and Grogu for 2 seasons, and now Grogu's back and he does some things here and there, and Din's here and he supports. I don't know that everybody loves that, which is why I thought maybe they're trying to ease us into the fact that he won't be around anymore.
I don't know. I'm still solid on those rumors I heard that this season ends in a new spinoff. I think the spinoff is going to be bo-katan going her own way, or maybe bo-katan carries the Mandalorian title.
I was just going to say the spinoff is going to be Din's show.
Din and Grogu are the spinoff.
I don't know. I'm starting to believe those rumors, yet at the same time, I don't know. There's a lot of little hints that tell me the big twist is Din dying.
I don't want Din to die, though.
I don't think anybody does.
Din is he's like the reason anyone signed on to watch the show in the first place. Because we didn't know about Grogu.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was the one they sold kind of the
Din
show
is what
with,
we came for. Din
Grogu's
is who
what we
want.
stayed for.
No.
And Bo's who we get.
Next comment is from John Davis. When Din got separated from the other Mandalorians and overwhelmed by the Beskar-wearing troopers, I was actually concerned that he might get killed off then and there. Instead, it was my boy Paz Visma who went down fighting like a boss. This was a bittersweet scene, as it felt like Paz only just started to develop as a character this season. It was really growing on me. I hope we will get to see a lot of his son, Ragnar, in the future Star Wars. This comment goes with Doug Carter. My biggest issue with the show is that the dark saber is consistently forgotten about until someone else actively brings it up. It took Bo forever to remember, oh yeah, I have a sword that can cut through anything. Also, I swear it looks like the Praetorian weapons stab through Paz's Beskar armor, which they shouldn't really be able to do. And this also goes along with Chaos of the Unicorns. I like that name. It's funny how Visla's blaster got 10 times more powerful when dedicated to sacrificing himself and started taking out troopers like it was nothing, when before his shots were bouncing off troopers when not sacrificing himself.
Yeah, when you make the decision to sacrifice yourself, everything becomes more powerful.
You go into God mode.
Yeah.
Everyone
Go God
that.
mode until you die, which seems ironic or contradictory, but that's how it works.
It was really sad. I mean, I agree with Paz was really growing on me this season. We're seeing a lot of growth out of him as a character. He was willing to accept bo-katan and Din.
Yep.
He did, he went after his son. He showed he had a heart and he cared.
He's always caring about the younglings. Even in this episode, take the kids.
Yeah, his first thought is always the future of the covert.
Yep.
He just didn't know at the time if he could trust Bo and Din with the future of the covert.
Exactly. It's all about loyalty, honor, integrity, character, like Din even said.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he didn't get a ton of screen time this season or in any of the seasons, but when
he got more this season than any other, though.
He did, but I mean, when he's on there,
he shines.
He shines. He does. I actually really came to like the character this season. I was sad when he died.
I was too. But I was happy to see that it took 3 Praetorians to take him down.
Well, they took him down like really easily, and
his gun had overheated at that point.
Well, yeah.
If they were walking up to him and he still had his gun,
you mean his gun had melted at that point?
Yes. Well, I'm just saying, if they would have, he would have turned around and they were slow walking like bosses up to him and he still had his gun, you don't think he was going to take
But you think they would have slow walked him if he had a gun still?
I'm just saying, they just came in to do cleanup work.
They did. No, I agree. But I also agree it was a little strange that their weapons seemed to be able to pierce Beskar with ease.
Well, they're like viral blade type things.
For sure.
I know I have a book somewhere that explains probably how awesome those weapons are, whatever, but...
Still, it was a little strange to see shots bouncing off of him, and then
I was thinking at first maybe they're just going for the joints in the armor.
Well, they were. If you watch the fight, the Mandalorians in particular were always going for the joints.
Well, I was wondering if the Praetorians were also going for the joints.
It didn't seem that way, but yeah,
it didn't look like it exactly.
Not exactly, no.
All right, let's move on to our next comment from Neon Tetraploid. Good episode, but I can't help the feeling that Gideon was probably a completely different character than he was before. Like in the first 2 seasons, he was like an evil Luthen Rail, but in this episode, he was a mustache-twirling cartoon villain.
A little bit of that, I agree.
I think maybe just because he was locked up, and he's like, no, we got to get this plan moving. Why are we waiting for Thrawn?
I didn't have a problem with the opening council meeting so much. I think the whole let Din live and take him to the debriefing room so I can tell him my plan or whatever I'm going to do.
Maybe he's just going to torture him and kill him before he humiliates him, or use him to get Grogu.
Possibly.
Because he still needs Grogu.
Yeah.
Because he's doing something shady behind the scenes, and I feel like that's why
Grogu was with them. Why does he not just... I don't know.
Maybe he couldn't. I mean, they escaped.
Well, I know they escaped, but he could have made an effort to try to get Grogu sooner if that was the goal. I don't know. It just feels like one of those things, like, I understand he's not just going to execute the hero right there and then. That's a Game of Thrones thing.
No, you got to use the bait, man. Use the bait.
I guess. I don't know.
Plus
I understand
he's got personal qualms with this one.
Sure, but I don't know that he's the type. I mean, we see him in, like, the first season. He just, like, shoots up the bar, kills his own men. He doesn't seem to, like, care.
No.
And yet here he's like, now I gotta save Din because I want to go and talk to him a bit, and maybe I'm going to torture him. He doesn't seem like the type. At least he doesn't seem like the type from earlier seasons.
Well, they needed some reason to keep him alive, though, because he's the titular character.
That's the problem. You need some reason. We didn't really get some reason. We're just going to let him live.
No, we'll probably get some reason next episode when it opens up with the torture, and we'll be like,
I know. Yes.
Here's the reason.
Yeah, I love Moff Gideon. He's probably my favorite character, or evil character, villain character that they've made here in the Disney era. But this was a little like, Not that they could have him kill him, but oh well.
I see who's rooting for Din's death.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for Din's death at all, but I'm rooting for Gideon. Maybe that doesn't gel well.
But it is interesting, because I thought 100% that Gideon was going to be on the same side as Thrawn, but now we're saying that Gideon has his own agendas, and the Shadow Council is kind of split between the people who are like, yeah, we're totally going to sneak around and work with Thrawn and rebuild the army and the fleet, and then you have Gideon who's like, nah, I'm in charge, Phasma.
I'm in charge now, Phasma. Wait, wrong movie.
Wrong movie. But he wants to be in charge. You could tell some of the other warlords kind of lean his way, like, why aren't we just taking control here? Thrawn's not here. Is he ever going to be here?
Yeah. No, I like that. Like I said, I didn't have a problem with the beginning so much. I felt Gideon. It was the ending, a little non-Gideon, I guess.
Next comment is from Thuret1Cal. I hate being negative, but if this really is all still leading to Palpatine, then making the Praetorian Guards competent fighters is a downer. In the end, as strong as they appear here, they get destroyed by Rey, who only held a lightsaber for a few days. That's why it's hard to fix them when Disney did so many things wrong in the sequel trilogy that simply improving its content like the guards in the in-between era won't change how bad the performance is in Episode 8.
Like a disappearing dagger that could have stabbed Rey in the back.
We don't talk about disappearing daggers. They disappeared.
Yeah, the Praetorian fight. A lot of people love that Praetorian throne room, but I don't know.
It's cool, but
it's kind of cool. I didn't hate it when I first saw it, but then when assuming you've seen like the breakdowns of it, like I didn't notice the disappearing dagger the first time I watched it. I didn't really think about the fact that they like swing their weapons at each other instead of trying to avoid them. The choreography, it looks amazing at first glance, but any kind of inner, deeper look, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is bad.
Well, at first glance, the whole fight with the Praetorian Guards seems awesome because we're like, oh, those like red guards aren't for show. Look, the red guards are going to fight, and we didn't get to see that in the original trilogy. So you're like, look, the guards of a leader actually do something.
Yes.
Even after the leader dies, their allegiance was true, and they're like, nah, we got this.
Yeah.
So it was cool that we got to see them fight in The Mandalorian the way they should have been fighting. But then again, they were also fighting against a pretty much disarmed Mandalorian. Not two Force users. I don't want to make excuses for the sequel trilogy, though.
No, but Paz is a beast. Like we've seen Paz can handle himself.
We have seen Paz can handle himself, but he just has one knife. He's exhausted. He's been battered and bruised.
Agreed. I'm not saying Paz should have taken them out. I'm not even saying Paz should have put up a fight. The fact that Paz didn't put up a fight sells the Praetorians. The problem is you then look at the sequels, as this comment is pointing out, and you see I've been training with a lightsaber for 3 days, Rey, kind of tear them apart, and you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, Ben did better against him than she did.
Barely, honestly.
I know.
Actually, in the end, Rey's the one who has to save Ben because she's the one who tosses the lightsaber and Ben ignites it in his face or something like that. It's been a while since I saw The Last Jedi. Go figure.
Go figure.
But no, I don't disagree with this comment at all. A big problem with the sequels is some of the stuff in story is just head-scratchingly bad. I'm sorry to say it, but it is. And you can't sit here and build up the Praetorians to be awesome only to have a scene in the films where they're just not awesome.
I just want to know more about Project Necromancer.
That's the project to bring back Palpatine.
Can it bring back other things? Like these undead Stormtroopers were supposed to be rumored to be in...
Oh my god, I didn't even remember those stupid rumors.
Necromancer? Not to mention there's supposed to be Night Sisters or something in it who also dabble in necromancy. I'm just,
you
dropping
bring a good point. I think it all goes back to...
Drop it like it's hot, man.
Oh, jeez. I don't know if anybody says that anymore, but...
I do.
But I do think it all goes back to Palpatine. I mean, I don't see how Project Necromancer can't be to bring back Palpatine from the dead. But then again, who knows? Maybe it's just making some animated dead Stormtroopers.
All right, next up from Joshua. When the ambush appeared and the Imperials attacked, the first thing that came to my mind was, they fly now?
Same here.
I know. Because they're flying in
We've never seen anybody fly with a jetpack in Star Wars before.
Oh, wait, we've seen that a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
You'd almost think that Finn in the First Order would have known they have jet troopers.
Well, he was a janitor or something.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
He actually wasn't.
No, he did more than janitorial duties.
That was. They didn't have actual janitors, so the First Order. I mean, I'm not trying to defend the sequels, but it does get explained that they all have duties beyond just being soldiers, because they don't have a sanitary team that does these things.
When you're not one of the elite troopers, you have to do basic jobs too.
Anyway, but yes, I thought that too.
Next comment from Boys and Batcher. Did anyone else spot that during the feast there were a few large bird-like creatures on spits that looked suspiciously like the new Foundlings they brought back a few episodes ago? Thought it was quite an interesting detail, though I'm surprised that I haven't seen anyone else mention it.
I didn't notice that. I kind of forgot about their little bird friends that they said were Foundlings.
I think they were joking. I think Mandalorians can still joke.
Yes. I don't think they weren't joking. I don't think they were like, this is the way, get your helmet on. I'm just saying I haven't seen them since. I haven't thought about them since. And perhaps they were just like, well, let's cook them up and eat them. Because they didn't know. Maybe they originally had a thought in story and they kept it. Well, and then decided to just cook them and end that. Whatever. Well, yeah,
they didn't even stay on the planet that those creatures were native to. It might have just been like they couldn't even survive here.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they couldn't survive without their mom anyway, probably.
Yeah.
These birds were doomed.
Yeah, doomed to be eaten, apparently.
Yum, yum.
Nice spot, though. Like I said, I didn't notice that at all.
All right, final comment is from the Intuitive Alchemist. Greatly enjoyed the episode. Would love to have had more world building with the various moths and remnant building up this entire season. But it was great overall. Loved the Beskar troopers and the Praetorian Guards, as well as Gideon's final appearance. I didn't even mind Grogu's droid walker. Was worried it would be cringy, but it ended up being just the right amount of Star Wars humor and even had a meaningful use towards the story.
Yeah, I didn't find it too cringy. At first, I'm like, it's a little much, but then I remembered how the rumors said it was going to go. With the kind of the more mech suit with guns and stuff. And hey, they still got time to put some guns and bling that thing out, right?
You can yield a gun.
Yeah, but
the controls.
It was. I agree. It was a little much, but it fit. It was Star Wars humor. It was good.
Yeah,
it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, and it had a big important. I mean, that was arguably the most important thing Grogu has ever done, was stepping in between Paz and Axe and stopping that fight. And no. It's a great moment because it's actually Grogu doing something freely of his own accord, making a decision and stepping up and playing a huge part in the story beyond being told to go do something, looking cute on screen.
I still like when they pulled the IG out and he dropped his Skittles. I'm
yes,
like, oh,
that was good.
He dropped his Skittles. He's so excited. And then the little Alan is like, bad baby.
Yes.
Too squeezy.
I hate myself that I don't hate the Andalans.
They're kind of cute. And you hate that they're cute.
It's not that I hate that they're
He's
cute.
He's like, dang it, more cute puppets.
No, I actually kind of like that they're puppets. I mean, does it look a little hokey when it's climbing down? Yeah, but in a weird way, I'm okay with that because every now and then I think things should look a little hokey in Star Wars. Remind us that we do use practical effects. I'm cool with that. I'm old school.
Well, when everything's CG, it's
Yeah, I appreciate the Jim Hensons of history. Obviously. Huge person, the Muppets, all these other things that he's responsible for. So it's cool to see that not be a dead art form, right? So, no, I love it. All right, well, that is going to be all we got for you this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you thought of this week's episode of The Mandalorian, or what are your predictions for the finale? Whatever the case may be, you know what to do. Leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.